Well, good afternoon. I'm so glad you're here in class. I'm happy to be here with you, even if it is virtually. And I think what we need to do is just dive right in. Today we're going to learn the last two schemes to include in our essay. And those are assonance and alliteration. So I'm just going to start by giving you the definitions. Okay? You might know this. Alliteration. It's just repeating the same phonetic sounds. Okay? So it's a pattern of repeating phonetic consonants. Betty bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of butter that's better than her bitter butter, and she put it in her batter, and her batter wasn't bitter. So it was better Betty bought a bit of better butter. That was alliteration with the letter B. Lots of alliteration in nursery rhymes. But we use it to decorate our writing too, in maybe a little bit more subtle way. Okay? So that's alliteration. It's easy. It's not that hard to do. It's not that hard to identify. The other scheme we're going to work on is assonance. Assonance is also a pattern of repeating phonetic vowel sounds. So this is a pattern of repeating phonetic vowel sounds. You know, phonetic means like I could use F, or I could use PH, or I could use GH at the end of the word. Those all make the F sound. That's phonetic. Same with vowels. Lots of different ways to make the OW sound. You know, I could do OW or OU, GH, or AU. Lots of different ways. One thing about assonance is if there's repeating phonetic vowel sounds, the result is, let's see if you can figure this out. What would be some good words that all make the same sound? Maybe I want to make the E sound. Scene, machine. Let's do one more. Scene, machine. What else makes the E sound? We got I, we got EE. I'm having trouble. Scene, machine, clean. Okay? Have you seen the clean machine? That's assonance. These vowel sounds are all repeating. And one of the things you might notice about this is that they rhyme. Assonance is where we get rhyme from. And so what's great is this is going to help us later in our poetry unit too. But it also works in writing. So what I would like to do now that you know what alliteration and assonance are is I'd like to go through this little ditty that I wrote, and I'm going to add in some assonance and alliteration and just let you see how it works in your papers. This isn't hard. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. But here we go. This is a true story. After karate last Friday night, Mrs. Pierce went out dancing with Mr. Pierce. They took a bachata lesson at Salsa Heat. It was not as romantic as you might think because the teacher rotated the partners every 5 minutes. However, changing partners kept everyone working hard and learning fast. By the end of class, they could do 2 kinds of turns and had met tons of new people. At the end, they finally danced together. The end. Okay, I'm going to put something else up on the board here for you to see. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the same story, but this time I've added in alliteration and assonance. Let's see what you think. After a crazy karate class last Friday night, Mrs. Pierce went out on a dancing date with dear Mr. Pierce. It was a sweet repeat of their last bachata lesson at Salsa Heat. The dance did not lead to as much romance as you might expect because the teacher rotated the partners every 5 minutes. However, frequently changing partners kept everyone focused enough to quickly learn 2 fun new moves. Moreover, they made many new friends. The last dance was lovely. The end. Okay, if you can see this well enough to see the words clearly, why don't you pause the video and somebody time you. You have 3 minutes to find examples of alliteration, which is a repeated consonant sound. It can be at the beginning, middle, or end of a word. And also to look for examples of assonance, which is the same vowel sounds. So they need to be fairly close together, usually in the same sentence. If it happens twice, it might have been intentional, but if it happened 3 times, you know I did it on purpose. So are you ready? Take 3 minutes. Okay, now let's see if you came up with the same things that I did on purpose here. Okay, we started off with after a crazy karate class. That's alliteration. They don't all start with C, but they all make the K sound. After a crazy karate class last Friday night, Mr. Pierce went out on a dancing date with dear Mr. Pierce. Alliteration. It was a sweet repeat of their last bachata lesson at Salsa Heat. Alliteration, no, assonance, sorry, assonance. Sweet repeat heat. Hot tip, they rhyme. The dance did not lead to as much romance as you might expect. So here I have dance, here I have romance. And it's the ant sound that we like here. Because their teacher rotated the partners every 5 minutes. However, frequently changing partners kept everyone focused enough to quickly learn 2 fun new moves. Alliteration. Moreover, they made many new friends. M. The last dance was lovely. I forgot. 2 new moves. This is assonance. Okay? And that's all there is to it. Here's the thing. This is a little overdone. It's almost too cutesy. If you do it 3 times, they know you did it on purpose, that it was intentional, right? If you do it 2 times, where's the time I did it? The dance did not lead to as much romance. It's subtle, but it has a nice sound. It sounds cool, right? But if you do it 3 times, a whole bunch in one paragraph, it sounds a little bit contrived and it sounds too cutesy, okay? So when you do your next essay, I just want 1 example of alliteration that I can clearly see by 3 somewhere in the essay. It's just a decoration. It's just like earrings, you know, you want 1 or 2. That's a little classier than when you have like 50 on your ears. And it's the same thing with this. And I want the same with the assonance. I'll take even 2. But it doesn't always have to come at the end of a sentence. But like 2 new moves or dance romance, something like that, just as a nice decoration. Once you've mastered this skill, I can add this in and out of my writing as I choose. I own this skill and I can make it work for me. And I want that to be the same way for you too. So these are your last 2 schemes: alliteration, which is repeating phonetic consonant sounds, and assonance, which is repeating phonetic vowel sounds. It's something you do on purpose. It adds class and harmony, and it sounds nicer to the ear when you put these things in your paper. So, not too hard.